Goodnight Lost Souls. My name is the Biotic Banshee, and welcome to another episode of The Recently Deceased. Today on the slab, we have Ultimate Zombie Defense 2. Now, I came into this with a prior experience with Ultimate Zombie Defense 1. I've played 4 or 5 hours of Ultimate Zombie Defense 2, and then on top of this, I've also watched a couple of other reviews from other creators. And I wanted to do this because, number one, I was a fan of Ultimate Zombie Defense 1. I thought it was a very action-packed game, very fast-paced. I quite enjoyed it for just a zombie game, for what it was. I don't think it was a perfect game. I think it was far from it. But I think that for the price point, which I believe still sits at around $5, $10, something like that, it was a good game. And I believe that Ultimate Zombie Defense 2, sitting at a $15 price tag, it delivers on everything that Ultimate Zombie Defense 1 did, and then some more. Now, this doesn't line up with other reviews that I have seen. It seems to me that at least people who have posted videos reviewing the game have had a massively different opinion about the way that the game is played, the way the game runs, the design choices, all these things that I can't help but disagree with. Now, Zombie Defense 2 is a very basic game. Okay. It's basic in the sense that it is a format that we are very familiar with. We know about a wave-based zombie survival game where you build barriers, you buy weapons off the walls, you upgrade these weapons with a pack-a-punch machine, you know, all these things are very familiar. What Ultimate Zombie Defense does bring to the table in both the first and second iterations of the game is a skill tree and the ability to specialize yourself into a style of play that I think allows players to get ingrained in how they want to play the game. And it's something I've seen not really harped on by other content creators. So, I understand that right now in the build of the game, there are 4 different maps to play on, with a 5th one coming soon. 3 different skill trees that you'll work your way through over the course of many games, with permanent skill upgrades that come with the game. Now, this can make the game feel very difficult if you first start playing and have 0 levels. Me and my girlfriend actually played through it in co-op a bit, trying to just enjoy the game because we're both fans of survival games. Playing through this game at first felt quite difficult. We had some difficulty making it very far at all until we got the hang of the mechanics, the hang of the different, what strategy we should use when buying items and buying our perks and setting up where to defend. All of these things we had to learn and improve upon, which caused a little bit of a curve to the game as far as its difficulty was concerned. But nothing that made the game unfun. I think it's a welcome challenge, at least compared to games like COD, that you could go 30, 40, 50 rounds in, and the difficulty doesn't really rear its ugly head that much at all. Now, in Ultimate Zombie Defense 2, the gameplay you're seeing right now is on one of the maps called Cemetery. Cemetery is a well-balanced map. It's the map I've played all of them about 2 times a piece, so I've played all of them pretty equally. And the gameplay you're seeing is me playing the Engineer class, having about 8 levels in it, and having put in my points and trying to lean into this gameplay style of sit in one place, build up my defenses. I did learn from playing the game previously that immediately going and finding a place to set up your position is not the best option, at least from what I've played. So I waited till about round 6 or so, getting some money up, opening up some of the map, having access to certain perks. All of this I factored into my strategy before I even started playing the round, which I think is something that this game shines with. It shines with players who go into each match knowing how they want to play the game. If you don't want to sit in a single spot, you don't want to plan out where you're playing to set up your base, you don't have to. Play Scavenger. Scavenger is great, has a lot of ability to get even more money, has the ability to get a free perk, things like that. I've seen that harped on as a thing as well. That starting with a random perk just encourages you to restart the game over and over until you get the one that increases your income, and then just playing with that. And I can't argue that that's not something that you could do. You fully welcome to do that if that's how you want to play the game, but you don't have to. It is not necessary to play the game well and to get farther into the rounds. If you come from COD, you will notice that a lot of the weapons and things on the walls cost a good deal of money. And I think a lot of people take this as a poor pacing or just poor design in how much everything costs. But I think that people underestimate, at least when I've been playing the game, I underestimated how much of a jump there is when you consider upgrading a weapon. As you can see probably on the screen right now, actually, when I first get my assault rifle, I go from putting 6, 7, 8, 9 shots into the head of a zombie and not killing it with this pistol to one-shot headshotting a zombie with a rifle. Like, the jump between weapons is incredible, and it does make you feel like you bought a legitimate upgrade. Same thing goes for the perks. The perks all have pretty sizable effects that you will immediately begin to notice, and that will continue to affect you for quite some time, and they will always be beneficial. For instance, if you say, if you think like Call of Duty Zombies and you compare Juggernog to this game's version, it actually breaks up a couple of different perks that are all survivability perks. One that allows you to deal damage and then leech that damage back with your weapons as health. One that allows you to passively regenerate health while you're while you're out of combat. Both of those are in the game, and they both serve a sort of same purpose as the Juggernog. There's no straight just upgrade your HP, but both of these, once you have them, are extremely powerful perks. There's a perk in the game that allows you to, if you want to play as an engineering style, might not interest you at all if you're playing a Slayer or if you're playing Scavenger, but if you're playing Engineer like I do, the perk that I set up my base next to allows me to have a 20% discount on all of my costs as far as building and repairing are concerned. This is a huge thing for me because it allows me to save so much money when setting up my entire base and expanding my base in the future. Again, all of this leans heavily into a very specialized play style that players will have to think about before starting the game. Now, I think that this game is great. I highly recommend you pick it up, especially for the $15 price tag. I have heard that they're going to increase the price as you get closer to a 1.0 launch. This game is in early access. I believe I've already said that, but I just want to reiterate, it is in early access and we'll have more content coming to it. But the game right now, I would buy as is and would play it as is for many hours, more than what would be reasonable for what I spent on it, if I'm honest. So, with all of that said, I will go into some of the negatives about the game. And part of the negatives that I have to go over is the game does not have the best performance. There are times, especially in the later rounds, that when there are so many zombies on the screen, even right now I'm running a 4060. Even with this 4060, I have some drops in frame rate, and I am not 100% sure why that is. I've done some messing around with the settings, and I haven't been able to affect it too much. A little bit less, a little bit more, depending on the settings. But there are times that the frame rate does kind of eat the shitter. As far as anything else that I really have problems with in this game, a lot of the special infected and a lot of the different zombies, the special ones in particular, not just the run-of-the-mill zombies, they kind of force you into taking certain perks. Those regen perks I mentioned before are a very common pickup for me when I'm not. I just recorded this thing you're seeing in front of you for just this video, but normally I would go and I would pick up one of those regen perks because 2 seconds. Sorry. Those regen perks are kind of necessary. There are spitter zombies in this game. There are many zombies that can pull you into crowds, that can damage you from a range, and they will nickel and dime you to death before you really have the opportunity to fight back or run and get health, things like that. So it does feel like the types of zombies that come after you, the types of zombies that do come after you kind of do limit your choice in perk, it would seem, at least to me. But besides, even with all of those things I've said, I can't help but recommend the game. You can see what I'm doing right now as far as building a base. This is part of what I love about this game, being able to set up myself in a corner and play my way. Because unlike Call of Duty, yeah, sure, you could sit in a corner. How long, though, are you really going to sit in a corner before the game forces you to move out with the amount of zombies and the types of zombies it sends at you? This game, however, is built around a sedentary style, as well as being able to run around and do your own, training across the map. I've really enjoyed my time with the game thus far, and I hope to continue to enjoy my time with the game going forward and as we close in to the launch date, which as far as I know, has not been announced yet. But honestly, like I said, I think as is, I enjoy this game too much to not at least recommend it to some people. If you have any questions about the game or criticism, by all means, please leave a comment. I'll go ahead and cut it here. Just wanted to leave a quick review on the game that I've been currently grinding. If you guys haven't dropped a subscription, please do. It'd be very much appreciated. I will catch you guys next time. Of course, guys, take it easy.